One of our problems with trading often comes to the fact that we want too much and too fast. Like when the price goes $100, $200 upwards, we think, okay, we are going to the 10k or 100k or whatever. When the price goes down in the same amount, we are thinking, okay, we are going to the new correction 50% down. We always or very often overreact to what is happening. So, looking at the situation right now, we see, of course, lower highs, continually lower highs. We see even lower lows, considering this one and these two, which technically means that we are going down, at least in this period of time. And in fact, the group of people who are claiming that this might be the double top are sort of praising the win, although it didn't happen yet, and this triangle is still valid. But when we are looking at the price, the one important thing which we shall do is that we shall follow the trend. We shall be really flexible. Like if you see that the price is going up and then it is going down, like this for example, you would consider that this is really possible to be the reversal of this long run, or at least a correction. And then when you see this slowing down of this drop and returning this to the growing trend, then you should change your mind. At least you should consider that this drop will not happen. So just listen to the things which price tells you. Look at the signs. Consider the most possible scenarios based on these signs and trade accordingly. Of course, it may sound like self-evident facts, but those things are really easy to forget or not consider when you are dealing with your emotions on the market. So technically what is happening right now is we see this sideways price action. And if you would just assume that this market is driven by some manipulators which have like a lot of the coins, which have a lot of fiat, and they may move the price one way or another depending on their desire, it's really easy to understand that this sideways price action is actually the period of time when they are sort of probing the market. They are looking for the signs of where the crowd is going to go. Like if they would see that, for example, the volume for the sell is now high enough, so people are panicking that they are going to sell, then they may actually add some fuel to this fire and make people sell even more, and then when the volume will be at the critical level, then they will buy it. They will fill their bags because they want liquidity, they want volume, they don't have it in a regular condition. And they don't want to take passengers from this level to the level which they want to if they want to go higher. So if they would see that they are actually people who still hold, they don't buy at this level, they expect the correction to happen, and all those attempts of those manipulators to push the price lower is not supported by those people, and they're waiting much lower prices, then those quote-unquote whales will not do that. They will not let the price going down to the area where the majority of people would want to buy. Instead of that, they will push price to the very high level in order to left those people who are waiting for the correction behind, and then they would have to buy at higher price. So in fact, in this scenario, it's really hard to guess what is the narrative, like a general sentiment of the majority of people. But we have our price, we have our signs. And speaking about the borders here, so you can see this trend going down, and if you look at the daily time frame, then here you would see first is that we have the double top formation even more visible, but also if you turn on Bollinger Bands, then you would see that this bottom line of this triangle is actually really close to the baseline of the Bollinger Bands on the daily time frame. Often the baseline serves as a support when we're going upwards. So potentially if the price will go down, it will not only hit the support of the bottom of this triangle, but also the support at the baseline of the daily Bollinger Bands, which is pretty strong. So I would consider that if the price will continue to go lower, a lot of the people will start to buy here, and we have more demand and less supply, so probably will not be able to break it. If we will break it, then even more severe, more dramatic correction is possible to happen. So the moral of the story here is follow the trend, guys, and look at the hints which price gives you. Now I would like to mention a bit of a general picture here, and if you look at the history of Bitcoin price starting from its beginning, what you see here is there was, of course, a very strong rise in price over here. There was absolutely crazy rally here, and in between there were dumps, and there were like severe corrections, 80-85%, but then overall it is going up, and it already made like from whatever it was, well, zero initially, but $1 to $20,000, so 20,000 X. And now we see that we probably hit the bottom over here, and we are potentially may have another cycle like that. So ask yourself, why first of all the bear market periods are much shorter than the bull market periods? It's basically everywhere, here, here again possibly. Well, there are many reasons, but first of all, I guess fear is much stronger than the greed, and then people are more willingly sell because of the fear than they are buying because of the greed. Then actually on the bull market there is a need for the newcomers, because a lot of previous investors and traders, they left the market because of the previous bear cycle. And finally those who didn't sell yet and survived through this bottoming, they are starting to close their position on the way up, so it actually made the price going upwards slower. So now when you are looking at the global picture, and imagine that all of those people who are trading, who are investing in Bitcoin, and who are mining probably, who are like around this field, they are seeing this price evolution, they are seeing those cycles, and they see that we had a huge rise before, now we had dumped again, and wait a second, we are seemingly going up. So we possibly already after this lowest point. So potentially we are somewhere around here. We have the years or months at least of the growth in front of us, so we may make another 10 or 100x potentially. So why shall we wait? Why shouldn't we buy? And they do buy. And that is why I think that this period when we have this accumulation zone much faster than here is happening right now. Moreover, if you look here, just imagine the mining issue. You remember when it was at 6K, people were saying that the price can go lower than 6K because of the mining cost is something like 6K on the average. And then the same thing they were talking about 4K and so on and so forth. So this statement had lower and lower number as soon as the price was going lower. So apparently it's just the factor of the lower the price is, the less people are mining. So the difficulty is lower and so on and so forth. But just imagine that at this point there's a huge number of miners who didn't switch off their equipment yet because they are still maybe not in profit, but they are breaking even. They still pay their rent, their employees, and so on and so forth, electricity bills. But then if price will go lower, then of course they will cut. They want to mine with a loss. But eventually some fundamental market rule makes the price going higher, and at this stage, and those miners who have their mining in a very little profit, they started to have more and more profit, and they of course know about the global cycles of Bitcoin, and they think, okay, we are going to go to the new all-time high and potentially really huge all-time high, so why we will sell all of our Bitcoins right here while we can hold our Bitcoins and sell only the amount which is needed to cover our expenses for our business. So they start to hold some of our Bitcoins. In this way, the supply which is coming from miners getting lower and lower and lower. And if you look at the hash rate, then in principle it grew not that much. I mean, comparing to the price, it's still not twice, while the price from December rose even more than twice. It means that, of course, more and more miners are coming, but on average, they still hold more and more Bitcoins during the prices going up. So less supply means that the price will continue to grow. And this works as like a positive bias. The higher the price, the less Bitcoin are at the market from miners, or in other words, less supply. The less supply, the higher the price. And this is escalating really, really quickly right now, especially because of the other people are looking at this and they are expecting the same to happen. So this is one of my arguments about why we are going in this way, and why it's actually harder to huge players right now to dump the price and harder for the price itself going lower. Although of course the coin can flip and we will have this massive correction because people will be afraid of the price going down and they will sell. All the weak hands will be shaken out. But at the moment, this snowball is getting bigger and bigger. So anyway, we'll see what will happen with that. And I would like to end this with the news from CoinDesk about CZ from Binance suing venture capital giant Sequoia for reputational damages. I don't know actually who is right in this story. and I don't want to judge any of those, but it's actually interesting from the perspective of who will win, because CZ is relatively new capital and Sequoia is more established, I believe, at least in this field. And if CZ will win, then his reputation will increase dramatically. And in other words, this will make even more power in his hands. So welcome to even more quote-unquote decentralization of cryptocurrency space. Okay guys, that is it for today. I hope it was useful. So thank you for watching.